Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. I like it this way, people. This is a double broiler or something, like a steamer. This is a steamer. So I give it about an inch of water, right, to get it started. Okay? I'm going to put this on there with cheesecloth. It's got holes, you can see. Right? Hold on a minute. Okay, so there you go. Now this was just the dollar bags, right? Not the gala apples. I'm doing the gala apples separate in a different pot. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring it to a boil and then we're going to turn it down and we're just going to steam it. Right? And let it steam out, and then eventually, you know, you just squeeze out the juice within your cheesecloth, and then I'm going to take the apple after the fact and make apple butter and can it like I did last time I did this. And then now I'm going to get ready on this, and I'm going to steam this in a different one of these that I have, right? And that will be in a different pot. This will be in a different pot. Those will be in a different pot. Okay, that's what's going to happen here. And then what I'll probably do, depending on how much of this I have, I might get one.
Are going to be a different pot.
That's right. And then what's going to happen here is I'll probably get 1 or 2 jars, depending on, I don't know, we'll see, at least 1 full jar of plum juice by itself, and then maybe combined with some apple juice to make another quart. Same thing with this, right? I'm going to cook these all up together and make them a juice, taste it, and then I may combine, you know, do the 1 jar if it's good, and then if there's like that much left over in a quart, I'll add in the apple juice, and that will be that, right? So we're probably going to get 2 jars out of there with maybe a little bit of apple juice in one, 2 jars out of that with a little bit of apple juice in one. This will get, again, the gala apple will work perfectly fine, or even this one here will work perfectly fine to fill up that 2nd jar of, I'm sure I'll get 1 full jar of juice, of mango juice, and then, you know, maybe about that much, which, just hold on, I don't want a piece of cheese, which in that case, I would take apple juice and then top it off and then put mango apple. This would be mango. That's just an example. So let's see what we get with my $30, okay? Hold on, people. Okay, so I'm starting off with the mango first. As you can see, I peeled it. Juice and everything. Some of them more ripe than others. Only got them from the dollar bag. Doesn't matter. So now what we're going to do is we're going to steam them. And then after we're done that, I'm going to put that juice in a separate pot, and then we're going to start with, again, with the plums. And then after we've done the plums, put that in a separate pot, and then we're going to do the zucchini with these apple pears, right? Or zucchini. That's the zucchini. I have to still make zucchini relish. I'm sorry. Kiwi. That's what I meant to say. Kiwi. Kiwi with the apple pears. And yeah, and I still got to do this all weekend, people. I'm doing tomatoes, zucchini relish, the juices, and then I still have to do beets, parsnips, and my green leaf vegetables. Hold on a minute. Okay, so it's same day, right? September 29th, 2017. I have these little jelly bags. They're actually kind of handy. Just make sure that when you take it out of the package, you rinse it, right? Before you use it. And this is the mango, right? So what you're going to do now is take out all the juice. So in the meantime, people, needless to say, I'm having panic attack after panic attack, right? Because my daughter, oldest daughter, had court on the 28th of this month, which was yesterday. And I can almost guarantee you, people, she didn't make it. Right? Because she's sick. Because we know what happens with people that are poor. They get tossed out onto the streets. Right? And then they go into the prison systems. And it's already been established that they don't receive health care in prison. That's not what prison is for. They get a little nurse's assistance here and there, but they don't get their methadone if they're on methadone. They don't get anything, people. So now my daughter's never been in jail, as far as I know. As far as I know, people, my daughter has never been in jail. And she's extremely sick. So what are they going to do? Transport her from jail to the hospital for a blood transfusion, and then once she gets her blood transfusion, send her back to jail? because she got caught stealing candy in some grocery store, but yet Uncle John goes missing, and Fraser Health Authority and CIBC Bank make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of that? Along with his corrupt family in terms of his sisters and his brother robbing him blind of his pension plans and his inheritance if he got one from his Looney Tune wife that they failed to tell him about for 13 months because they knew that it was just a matter of time before he'd either kick off or they could do what they've done because they've been doing this shit for a long time with a whole lot of other people. Because they damn well knew what they were doing when they did it. And these lawyers are just covering it up. So they can go on to the next victim. Is I feel like I'm making my last supper. In this case, it's juice and canned tomatoes and zucchini relish. Kind of like a last supper. Right? Make sure there's food in the house before I go to jail. Right? So, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how I can heal myself. Since I can't go get help from the health authority. As if I'd get treated fairly. Right, people? As if I would get treated fairly. So this stuff takes a long time for it to go through. I don't know. I kind of like cheesecloth better. But I just wanted to show you. Okay, people. I'm at the sink here peeling apples. These apple peels, because these apples are fresh, right? I paid 79 cents a pound. I'm going to see, because it's October now, apple season is here, right? So I'm going to see if I can get some Macintosh apples. Do a batch of them. Because these are galas. That was the tree that was decimated in the field over there with those walnut trees, right? That tree gave off more of a, kind of like a gala. Not really a gala, but kind of like a gala tree. And because these peels are nice, right, because they were fresh apples, I'm going to boil them. And I'm going to take that juice and I'm going to put it in with the juice that I'm making. Where the last batch ended up in the compost pile, right? In terms of apple peels. These ones I can boil first and try and get as much juice out of them as I can. Right? And then the apple itself I'm going to steam. Right? Because you'd still have to pasteurize it anyway up to 190 degrees Fahrenheit for a little bit anyway, just to kill off any kind of germs, right? So I like doing it this way.
Some are living with them.
So
some we don't know where they are.
As I'm doing this, I'm thinking, right?
Still in shelters? Are they getting the help?
Serious people. Just sitting here peeling apples, thinking.
Red Cross was supposed to
listening to other people's problems. The people that got flooded out in Texas and in Florida. Mostly Texas. Texas got it hard. Right? And people aren't getting the help that they need. Even from the professionals. Right? So, I don't know. I know I'm not getting the help that I need. Right? You know?
My friend did just get.
I know Uncle John didn't get the help that he needed.
A large portion of their parking. This will go on for a year. For them alone.
After I'm done these tomatoes
I have personal
and the zucchini and the beets and the parsnips and the kale and the Swiss chard and the beans,
and you realize
I don't know,
in the
people.
surrounding areas? How many
Might be the
cans
only
do
food
you
that I
have?
have with the rest of the food in the house over
Because
the
sometimes
winter.
they're limited rooms
Right?
that they
It's
make
going to be a
available
pretty tough winter.
for FEMA. And how many?
So it's a toss-up again between food,
Houston,
right?
haven't even seen any
We're working on Uncle John's lawsuit,
Still today,
as Fraser Health is throwing in a fast one.
just posted
Right.
on a plaintruth.info's.
The thing I like about real juice
People talking, we haven't seen
is it doesn't one have the fucose in it. That's a big
Haven't
one,
seen anybody, and it's-
right?
We're getting into it.
People get addicted to the fucose.
Haven't seen any Red Cross.
Right.
My friend said she hasn't seen.
And
any.
obviously it has more
No troops,
nutrients.
No volunteers, nothing. No.
Right.
And
Because it's not coated with a fake sugar.
oh, mailbox.
Right. And it's
But
nice to
also
have
not delivered to
when you have no money.
So they had to
Just
make
like that
a
meat.
mailbox, and that cost
Right, which is really good.
$262 or something.
And so I figure if I do this for the
I'm
next
explaining all of these details because I think those who have
3
no
days,
interest
2-3
in-
days,
no idea,
I should get
no idea
a good part of it done.
how suddenly
Right.
you find yourself
In terms of
freaking out every single day,
canned,
and you don't know how
and
you're going to get by.
chopped up and put in the freezer, and boiled and chopped up and put in the freezer.
And when family,
Right.
family,
Or dehydrated, because I'm thinking of dehydrating those beans. Those big ones.
do we
That's what I'm
just
thinking to try and
say,
do.
Too bad for them.
So
Something has to give here. Something really has to give.
doesn't leave me much time for anything else.
You know, I
At
have
least for
lived
now.
without anything.
Right.
My subscribers who have known me for years, they knew when I left Great Barrington, I was in my car. I have not had a home.
So
I've got walls, but I don't have.
these are nice
I don't
apples.
live with any comfort.
Hold
I
on.
don't shop.
Like I said, it would be nice
I don't
to be able to get some
lunch. I don't.
Macintosh and do a batch of Macintosh apple juice. See? And I'm going to boil it. And then I'm going to put the juice in with the other juice. Okay, people. September 30th, 2017. I'm going to be canning this juice. I got it all ready. It's in the fridge in containers and jars. Right? I'll show you. But I think what I'll probably do is upload what I've done, this part, and then I'll bring the jars out. You can see what I'm going to can. And then I'm just going to convert the video and upload. As I'm trying to do this, people, I'm trying to remind myself to be happy. Right? To be happy on the inside. No matter what people are doing to you on the outside. Right? And I'm trying to think how I can deal with my problem with Uncle John, because it's pretty apparent that the court system is biased. They're very quick and ready and able to prosecute the petty criminals in terms of someone like my daughter who goes into a grocery store and steals candy, because it keeps that staple within the justice system going. Everybody can depend on that paycheck when it comes to petty crime. Right? But when it comes to white collar crime, people, you know, you're dealing with mobs, you're dealing with syndicates, you're dealing with gang activity, organized crime. That's why they call it white criminal activity. And being that I have listed like 74 infractions under the Criminal Code of Canada that all relate to mandates, rules, and regulations, which are a form of laws, since Fraser Health Authority wants to sit up there and say we haven't committed any wrong under laws, because they they give their service to the client as an individual. No, people, they don't give their service to the client as an individual. What they do is they gang stalk, gaslight, and psychologically warfare against the patients that are going into the system that either have money or don't have money. Depending on where you are on that spectrum, you're going to be treated differently. So the healthcare system is biased, right along with the justice system. They're treating me with bias. I'm not a lawyer. We've been asking for a lawyer. We can't get a lawyer because we don't have $80,000 to $100,000 to ensure that the lawyer has enough funds to at least do the basics within the system in terms of trials and all that other stuff, right? So that puts you out of the race, people. That puts you out of the race. So what happens is the court system becomes a country club. That's what happens. I'm dealing with a country club with a bunch of pompous individuals who are set for life because they work in a system that is biased against the public, even though it's a justice system that's supposed to represent the public. And since being under the BC Liberal government, what's happened in the province of British Columbia, Canada, is that we have become a lawless society in many aspects of our union sector because they're out of control when it comes to looking for those dollars wherever they can find them to prop up their systems based on government funding and anything extra in terms of bonuses, bones, like Uncle John was a bone to the loving nurse who then goes out into the halls and scopes out, and scouts out new victims to feed into that system so that loving nurse can retire with superannuation, life insurance policies and dental plans and prescription plans and, get $10,000 scooters at the taxpayer's expense on top of disability pension plans and old age pension plans and provincial superannuation plans. Because it's not all superannuation life insurance policies. Once they retire, they also get their pension plans. More than 57% of the provincial budget goes up to prop up 400,000 employees within the provincial government across the province of British Columbia, Canada, out of 4.6 million people. 57% of that budget goes to prop up 400,000 people. And even then they're crying that they're not getting enough. Right? Because they want also every year, they want, or every time they do a contract, they want extra wages, they want extra this, they want extra that. In the old days, when the economy wasn't like it is today, maybe it was okay. But now it's a freaking free-for-all. It's a dog-eat-dog world. And through the BC Liberal government, they took away so much from the public to prop up their cohorts in terms of their rich lobbyists and those type of corporations that have lots of money and that type of thing, right? And their donors and stuff, but they took it from the public. I'm the public, people. Fraser Health does not represent the public. Okay? Fraser Health Authority does not represent the public. They represent the corporation, which is funded by the provincial government. And there's corruption in that corporation. And it happened under the BC Liberal government because the BC Liberal government was in power for 16 years. Now, whether that corruption was there before, I don't know. I just know that what Uncle John brought to my attention. I just know that how my daughter's been treated all these years has brought to my attention. So with that said, I think what I'm going to do, people, is obviously I'm not dropping the ball. I'm not. I'm trying to be happy thinking about going to jail at some point in the future as a political hostage to corruption, basically. Okay. But in the meantime, as I'm gathering up my papers and everything, or whatever, I'm going to write the Attorney General and I'm going to send him a copy of this notice of claims to them, right? And just some other general information. And I'm going to ask for that person to do an internal investigation into these cases in light of the Criminal Code of Canada, because that's what the Attorney General is supposed to do, is to root out corruption, right? For sure, the Attorney General. Minister of Health, I don't know about, because I've already written the Minister of Health in the past. Now, mind you, that's under the Liberal government, not under the NDP. So would I get a different response? I don't know. So I may send a copy to the Minister of Health, and I may also send a copy to the CEO of Fraser Health Authority and bypass these shyster lawyers. Serious. Because they're not protecting John. They're not protecting the public. They're protecting their status quo in terms of who can we lock up next? Who can we seize their assets next? Whether they do it through the public guardian and trustee, or whether they do it through a corrupt fucking nurse that's been working in the system for 40 years and knows how to play the game under her code white, call security, the big bad criminal kids are in the hospital, call security. You tell me how my kids are supposed to feel comfortable going into a hospital setting when they got security called on them to go see their grandfather. As the people that worked in the hospital probably more than likely transported him all doped up in a fucking hammock. So he was sleeping on the ferry. And then he woke up and he didn't have a fucking choice anymore. Did they give him shock therapy for him to lose his memory? What provoked the total loss of his memory? That is something that the Attorney General should go investigate. On top of the other 74 infractions under the Criminal Code of Canada. As I'm being gang-stalked. Right? To shut me up. So they can exploit the next 20 years of baby boomers. Between the health authorities and the banks and the corrupt employees. Well, the province, the government, I didn't know. 400,000 people take up 57% of the provincial budget. And this is the healthcare system that we have based on that number. Nobody is safe because they don't represent the public. That's why when Uncle John first went into the Surrey Memorial Hospital, people, and within 4 days, that social worker called me in, sign here. We're going to go put him in convalescent care. And I'm like, hold on a minute. How's John? How is he? What's wrong with him? Oh, he's confused. You need to sign here. No, I'm going to go talk to John. See what John wants. See if he's even feeling better yet. What's wrong with him? You say it's a lung infection? Oh, it's normal for people with lung infections to get a little bit of delirium? So let his lung infection clear up. But we didn't know they were doping him up the minute he fucking got there. It took us a while to figure it out. And then they had the audacity to lie to him about it, people. Here's your calcium pill. It's just calcium. Yeah, calcium my ass. I told her, you want to put him in convalescent care after I spoke to John. He doesn't want to go. You bill us. And we will either fit it into the budget and make monthly payments on it, or we'll take it to court and we'll dispute it. Because he doesn't want to go. Joan Duncan lived with us for 4 years. She went into the hospital 40 times, people. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And the more times she came home, the more equipment she came with. Oxygen tanks, feeding tubes, freaking all kinds of crazy shit. John wasn't allowed to come home, not even once, for 5 minutes. Now why is that? Because there was something that they wanted besides his body. And they had to destroy his mind to get it, which equates down to money. Whether the Fraser Health Authority was getting money from the provincial government to keep Uncle John at the Victoria General Hospital for 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, however long before they kicked him out and threw him into his sister's fucking isolated fucking dungeon. And then he got sick and injured in that dungeon. Well, Fraser Health Authority ignored that. Because they got paid. They got paid for their little Yale Road Center, for their Surrey Memorial Hospital to house him, to taunt him, to tease him, to terrorize him, to scare him. They got paid. His sister fucking got paid. Have proof of that. But if he would have been a poor man with nothing, they would have threw him out in the street in the rain, people. In the rain. And that's why I'm not dropping the ball. And that's why I'm going to get in touch with the Attorney General. That's why whatever I send to the Attorney General, I'm going to send it to the CEO of Fraser Health Authority. And I call them on their fucking country club bullshit. This is not a country club. This is human life. Real people. Real youth. Real children. Real old people we're talking about here. Not a fucking golf tournament. And no, Andre's not here. He's out. So I can hold it all I want! Right? And don't think I won't fucking send this shit to these people, because I will. I will. I'll find a fucking way. I'm already talking to my kids about letting me go work for a few days out of the month. But Mom, you can't. You're not well. I know I can't, and I know I'm not well, but it's something I'm just going to have to do, because I'm not going to let these fucking people win. And if they win, it will be on my deathbed, people, or I'll be locked up in jail as a political fucking prisoner. Because this is what this shit is about, politics. For them. For us, it's a loved one that disappeared like a native woman, and nobody wants to go looking for that person. Just another statistic. That's all. Right? So the point of this video is, now that I'm thinking about the Attorney General, the CEO of Fraser Health Authority, haven't even touched on CIBC Bank yet, but I'm sure their fucking CEO will be in the mix. Why not? Comes in threes, right? So there. Those are the next three people. Not the corporations, but the people that are going to get the information of these lawsuits. And how the court system is biased, because for some reason it's a private country fucking club. Anyway, before I upload this is what I did last night. It was up to like 4 o'clock in the morning finishing the apples. This is the Gala apples. Now, I ended up throwing out those apple peels. I put them in the compost. Because as they were boiling, I got a pretty good nose for things. I could smell the wax, people. I did not like it. Okay, it didn't taste good, and you could really smell whatever they put on the apple in terms of preserving the skin. And then this is the apple pear with the kiwi. I don't really like apple pear. I find it doesn't have no taste. But that's okay. This is the mango. This is obviously the plum. And this is the dollar store bags of apples. So this is what I'm going to do now. You can see. I'm going to start canning this, and then once I'm done canning that, then I'm going to work on the zucchini relish. And then after the zucchini relish, I'm going to get into tomatoes. Probably get into the tomatoes tomorrow. Try and get this done and the zucchini relish done today. And then tomorrow will be tomatoes. I'd love to make tomato juice, but I don't know. It's little kind of fickle, so we'll see what happens with that. As long as I get them canned, I'm happy. And then, you know, that's the thing. You know, how do you, I'm happy, people. I'm happy for all this bullshit. Regardless, it doesn't matter. I'm still happy, right? I know people out there don't want me to do this kind of stuff, because if I don't do it and I don't have it in the house, it makes me look like I'm irresponsible. But if I have it in the house, and because to me this is more affordable, I will show you how much food I get at the end of everything, because I'm going to start a new pile on the table over there, right? And you'll see at the cost of approximately how much food I get after I'm done processing it all for, you know, a bare minimum dollar amount of what I would have paid for in order to be able to have it to do what I'm doing. So anyway, we'll be back. Hold on.